And that, kids, is why I think there can actually be a reasonable argument made for how. Sorry, folks, I didn't see you there.
Bullshit.
I mean,
Welcome
he's
back,
not
everybody.
wrong, but he shouldn't say it.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Storytime Network. We're chatting once again while I play Skyrim. I do actually have it started up, despite the fact that I'm still on Xbox Game Pass. That's because I wanted to reveal the fact that I have actually switched a soundboard thing out, because I wasn't sure how much impact the But Why clip was getting, just because it was quite quiet. So I've changed it for something, I would say, like for like.
Why did you do that to me? Why would anybody do that?
I think that's like for like.
That's I'll allow it.
It's reasonable substitution. Of course, there are some things that can never be replaced.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, no, it's... I mean, the point is that I've basically filled the Storytime Network server soundboard with Taskmaster clips, despite the fact that only Get and I have watched Taskmaster.
So why did you do that is also Taskmaster, huh?
Like, a majority of them are from Taskmaster. I mean, if you go through them...
I can count 3. I think.
I wonder how much...
It's only Jesus Christ and why did you do that, right?
No.
No way as well?
No way! Yes, that's from Taskmaster as well.
Okay, the rest of them are not from Taskmaster, though. Because this one...
Oh my.
...is unmistakable.
God damn it, Takei.
And this one's also unmistakable. I missed the timing on that one a little bit.
But yes, anyway, let's... before we start playing with the soundboards, I have a very important question to ask all of you.
What is it?
Do you think my topic today is going to be weird or thoughtful?
Yes.
Both.
Hey, I don't always do both. Sometimes I do one or the other.
That's fair, I suppose. Right, what do you want to talk about, Fuzzy?
Today, what I want to talk about is idiosyncrasy versus pathology and whether that matters in terms of impact to the people around you.
You read that little bit in the that channel, huh?
No,
You're gonna have to dumb it down for me.
I didn't. Did something happen? Because that was just like I came up with that.
So someone made mention of something in our
Yes, I know which channel. I know which channel you're talking about, but like.
Yeah, it was a whole thing about a shitpost that said, you like dominant women not because you're submissive, but because you're autistic and they're direct with what they want. In my opinion, it can be both. It can just be both. It does not have to be one or the other.
Oh, that's not where I was going with it at all, but like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting discussion to have as well, but that's not where I was going with it.
Okay.
So, we all have idiosyncrasies.
Oh, of course. Whether it be like speech mannerisms or other mannerisms.
Yeah. And, Mill, please ask if you have any questions.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now, really.
Idiosyncrasy is like personality quirks or behavioral quirks.
Okay.
So yes, you will be our audience surrogate for the day, Mel.
Cool.
No fun.
So, here, for example, and here's the thing. While idiosyncrasies can can have similarities to like more like proper disorders or mental illness, they are not the same.
Nope.
Like, to put it in the most simple of terms, you can be sad without suffering from clinical depression.
Yep.
You can be a narcissist without having narcissistic personality disorder.
I do feel like that distinction in particular needs to be made a lot, because a lot of people pathologize narcissistic behavior as, or people with narcissistic personality disorder as being as bad as regular narcissists who do not have an actual pathology.
Yeah, you're actually getting into one of the things I wanted to talk about, but like, let me go through it. People can have obsessive tendencies without having obsessive compulsive disorder.
People used to joke with me about my occasional obsessive tendencies, despite the fact that I do not have OCD to my knowledge.
Yeah, people are always like, "Oh, I'm so OCD." No, you have obsessive tendencies. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, in my case, I wash my hands a lot. Like, far more than is necessary. I don't have OCD, that's just an obsessive tendency I have.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Yeah.
There's two primary things I wanted to discuss. The first, the second one actually, you've already brought up, Jack, is like that distinction to be made and like how it affects the viewpoint and how you see that person. And the other one is that how much when there is an effect on the people around you, how much does it matter whether it's an idiosyncrasy or a pathology?
It really depends, because in my opinion, like, the reasoning only matters so much when you cause harm. Like, the reasoning is only really important.
Well, here's the thing. It's not necessarily harm I'm talking about only. That's one of them. But, for example, concern is another way you can affect people. If you're not harming them, but they are concerned about you, and then in that case, does it matter whether it's pathological or just something habitual? But yes, but yeah, there's the thing that you brought up is, what's worse, someone who's a narcissist because they're a narcissist, or someone who like has a mental illness?
The former is worse. The latter
Yes.
is at least someone is struggling with an actual, disorder that affects their behavior.
And it's like, it's something that is very important to like think about on a day-to-day basis, simply because like you have to constantly, and this is especially applies when you're referring to acquaintances and people around you, is it can be very difficult. For example, someone who has like a short attention span, is it because they're not paying attention, or do they actually have like ADHD?
Oh,
Like-
yeah, no.
Like, you have to consider that, because that changes the context, and the context determines the social contract.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of... So, this is slightly unrelated, but somewhat related. I get the feeling that a lot of people do not seem to understand the limitations of people with mental illness. And
Yes.
So, because I've had people say to me stuff like, "Oh, you're just not believing your capabilities enough to, and if you just concentrate harder, or if you just work harder at getting better at remembering stuff, it'll come easy to you." It's like, no, my brain does not fucking work that way.
That's not how. Yeah, that's just like.
And I honestly find it kind of condescending that you're taking that attitude towards me.
So I've actually run into problems because my family has had a hard time coming to terms with the whole mental illness thing, even though I've recently learned that basically everyone on my dad's side is has some sort of pathological condition. But this is the argument I use. You don't go up to a diabetic person and say you should just like try harder so your pancreas makes insulin.
I mean, the metaphor I would use is probably like someone who is paraplegic, and you're just going up to them saying, "Oh, don't worry. If you try hard enough, you can walk again."
Yeah, and it's just like that is really the difference.
At best, it's condescending. At worst, it's downright bigoted.
Yes, and the thing is, it often comes from a place of ignorance, and not willful ignorance, just like a lack of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, it is something that's why it's important to spread that awareness. Is that like you are missing a lot of context depending on whether someone just has those habitual aspects to their personality or if they actually have like a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's the whole thing with like procrastination.
Oh,
right?
God. Yeah.
It's one of those things where a lot of people will just say, "Oh, you're just being lazy," when in fact procrastination is a symptom of like 40 different mental illnesses.
I have gotten that. Honestly, I for the longest time I just said I claimed that I was lazy as a way to just avoid having to talk about it, just to get people to stop bugging me about things.
Especially because people are going to call you lazy anyway.
Exactly, just like roll with it, and who gives a fuck about how they judge you, you know? But no.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's not armor; it's just styrofoam.
Yeah, people are gonna like you. At a certain point, you understand that people who are judgy are going to judge you regardless of the reasons or context.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Because people like to make conclusions about things. Because people like to think that they have something figured out. Because believe it or not, people like to think that they are intelligent, no matter how much anti-intellectuals like to claim otherwise.
People like to believe they're intelligent, and...
Or people like to believe that they have an edge over other people in some way,
yes.
shape, or form. They like to believe that if someone's more intelligent than them, they have better common sense or more street smarts.
Which I'm, like, still not entirely convinced that that's something that just exists.
There's nothing inherent about intelligence. Intelligence is built up.
No, I mean, like, street smarts and or common sense. Common sense, especially, is something that is,
It's a very loaded thing.
It's like, yeah, it's almost fallacious in some ways. Because the very idea of common sense perpetuates this idea that you can sort of just take certain things for granted. And, like, as we've learned over the course of human history, that's not really the case.
Yeah, it's really not. Excuse me.
Mill, do you have any comments thus far?
I mean, I think the whole pathologizing thing is possibly as a result of the fact that until pretty fucking recently, these mental illnesses haven't been getting as much discussion. They're suddenly coming into vogue, and so in terms of actually being brought up as a, you know, as something you can, as a legitimate thing you can have, and so people are looking for, how to word this? Okay, so they're starting to be discussed, but they're not being discussed in the right context, I guess, or the right amount of detail, and so when you hear OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, certainly from my point of view, a lot of what I learned from that was from media, and it's portrayed in a certain way, most often not accurate, because when has TV cared about accuracy in terms of anything, but especially mental illness?
Some of it is accurate, to be fair. Like, they're usually accurate with stuff like PTSD and addiction, usually.
But only recently.
Only recently, yes. No, there have been accurate depictions of those beforehand. It's just it just took a while for accuracy to be commonplace with those.
So I think the thing with PTSD especially is because that mostly, I think, began with
World War One, I believe, was when it
Shell
people
shock.
first
Yeah.
started
No.
realizing.
people started. Yes, that's the reason that became a bit more in focus, because it was something that specifically affected veterans most frequently, and veterans advocacy groups have always existed, right?
Yep.
So, and they had a more so. I'm trying to phrase this in a way that does not come across wrong, but essentially, veterans advocacy groups had something of an advantage over other groups that advocated for mental health awareness, in that because they were in the military and had ties to the military, it was easier to be taken seriously when you have like sort of the military as your backing to a certain extent.
I think there's also a case of, as we said, came to popularity in World War One when there was definitely a realization of, the horrors of war. It wasn't the first war where that happened, but it was certainly a very large example
It
of
was
that. And
the big one. It was,
yeah,
you might even call it the Great War.
yes.
And it's when it was given a name in the form of shell shock.
But because of that, there was a lot of visibility for the soldiers coming back, and the fact that post-war, the certainly in Britain, I don't know about in America or any other countries, but in Britain there was a lot of pushback on the coalition government at the time for not doing enough for veterans.
So the thing in America at the time was people were pissed that we got involved in the war in the first place, and there was a push back towards isolationism because of due in no small part to the trauma all the veterans faced across the ocean.
Funny how things change so much in just a century, huh?
Yep. It is funny.
But yeah, so PTSD. So here's the thing. I have a rough reasoning, and again, we are not professionals, legally speaking, and we are just throwing out guesses. And my guess for why we've talked about the PTSD, my guess for why addiction also got awareness is because there was an easy target, in that there was a very visible external cause/target, right? Like drugs. So like addiction and addictive personalities, it's one of those things where it is a hybrid. It is not just one or the other, because chemical dependency is a thing.
Yep.
But addiction as a mental illness and addictive personalities are also a thing. So it's why you can have addictions that have no chemical component, like gambling addiction.
Yep.
Right? You can have an addiction without a chemical component, and an addict can also not be someone who doesn't have an addictive personality. You could just have a chemical dependence. So it could be one or the other. It's not always necessarily both. Neither are they mutually exclusive. So it's one of those things where it was easier to bring awareness to because you didn't have to consider it from the mental illness angle. You could consider it just from the chemical dependency angle and then slowly work your way to the addictive personality part of it.
Yep.
But yeah, like... But even then, do you think all gambling addicts are pathologically addicted, or is there, like...
So
a
I'm pretty sure
habitual
there have been studies on this, and part of it is believed to be pathological, at the very least.
That would make a lot of sense to me, because, like, a lot of people, like, one of those things that is pathological but was, like, derided for a long time is hoarding.
Yes. It's that sweet, sweet serotonin, man. It's that sweet, sweet serotonin.
Sometimes you just, like, need that hit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, I just, this is sort of like, I've sort of exhausted my topics for the day, so someone, oh, actually, no, I haven't.
Oh boy.
I have a complete non sequitur of a topic. Look,
Go for it.
don't judge me.
I'm not judging you.
Look, yeah, but, so the other thing I was, gonna bring up is that, you really can't trust reviews sometimes.
Oh, no.
I mean,
the reviews
are you
only tell you,
talking-
like, how popular or how liked something is.
I mean, yeah. In what sense are you talking reviews? Are you talking like official reviews from critics, or are you talking?
Yeah,
user
that's
reviews?
the thing, isn't it? Is like, so I'm specifically talking about like the.
I mean, either way, they can't be trusted, but there's a different reason for both.
My issue has come across due to my fondness for web novels, right? And there's not really any sort of there aren't really critics with regards to web novels, and like critic reviews are also not necessarily trustworthy.
No,
but they tend to be more trustworthy than user reviews.
well, yeah, because
User reviews tend to be biased, usually, because, you know...
critic
Critic
reviews
reviews.
at least have to have a veneer of professionalism to them. They
Yes,
can't be
that is
outright
that's the
biased.
real. Yeah, that's the real issue.
You know, they sometimes they will do their best to be biased, but they at the very least have to be
They have to at least
outwardly.
pretend they're
Yes,
Yeah.
pretend that they're not. Whereas user reviews don't have that issue because, you know, nobody expects any professionalism from them. And
Nope.
wow, there's a lot of porn here.
not. I'm sorry, what now?
I've
Lusty
just found-
Argonian maid.
Yeah, I've just found a lot of
Oh.
books called The Lusty Argonian Maid. There's a lot of porn here.
I mean, that's the internet. In general.
So okay, we'll get to Scalies in a minute, okay? I'm talking about user reviews right now, but like, so
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry, but it's just the massive pile of porn that just,
It's
you know.
funny. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. So I'm reading a book right now that I have delayed for reading for a while, and one of the things that stood out to me is one of the user reviews, and this leads to a wider topic. One of the user reviews had something that it isn't necessarily untrue, but it is very much one of those things that requires context that was just not presented.
So it was misleading as it was reviewed, or as
Yes.
the review was misleading.
I wouldn't even go as far as to call it like explicitly misleading. It was more that it just was uniquely missing context that is necessary. So the review specifically is was along the lines. I obviously don't remember the whole thing, but like it was something along the lines of this is making an attempt to just be but I'm not like the other girls.
Okay.
Right? So that's like, but the reason I'm saying that's misleading and missing in context is that the context for that is a person who is trying to defeat gender norms in a medieval feudal society.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there's a lot of focus on the fact that this woman is like not like other women, but that's not in the Reddit sense, as it were. It's in the sense of, yeah, no, obviously, this person is not like the average woman because this is a world with extremely strict gender roles.
Mm.
And that's really what is not, like, that's the missing context there, is that when you have such strict gender roles in a society, obviously the narrative is going to bring attention to the fact that someone is trying to break away from those gender roles, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's the whole tropes are tools principle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it's not a bad thing that they're trying to emphasize that the protagonist is not like other girls, because it is being used as a critique of the gender roles, as opposed to, you know, just the sort of is that a proper example of virtue signaling? Can you use that? Can we use that word in this context?
Suppose.
But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes, I believe so. So, basically, in a nutshell, like the way that kind of trope is presented will affect how it actually, you know, is how its execution works.
Yes. So it's one of those things where you have to always bear in mind when you're looking through reviews, you will be missing context.
Of course.
So it's one of those things that makes consuming media more difficult, because I've come across series that are better than the review suggests, and I've also come across series that are worse than the reviews might suggest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that is sadly more or less impossible to properly judge.
It's one of those things where it's like you have to see for yourself to get your own opinion on it, and you don't necessarily want to see for yourself.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, yeah. I don't really. Certainly for media, I don't look at user reviews. I think they are more useful for products that you're buying, for example. But again, that they, you need to take them as a collective whole rather than listening to one specific.
Even that
review.
isn't necessarily reliable because remember, a lot of people are much more likely to leave negative reviews than positive reviews because the negative reviews stick in their mind a lot better. Or rather, they're much more likely to complain about something that they didn't like than gush about something they liked.
Well, that's where there's an element of if you're gonna look at reviews, you've got to be willing to put the work in of, all right, this person reported this thing. Is this a common theme throughout the reviews? If it's not, then you can write it off as just
bias.
Bias or an isolated incident. If it does happen to occur more often, then yeah, you got to take it more seriously. But that's the point. Most people aren't willing to put in that work. Not to mention, vast majority of the people, and we've said this before, don't have any critical thinking skills. And will take things that they read at face value, no matter how dumb it may be.
Yep.
So yeah, that's basically what I was trying to get at. Is like, I will fully admit that there have been times where I have not interfaced with a piece of media because I didn't like the reviews, but it's mostly... Oh, I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, I'm hearing two of you.
I am not.
Huh.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not hearing two of any of you. Are you hearing two of me?
No.
No. Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Oh, the dumb rabbit. Anyway, you were saying, Fuzzy?
Oh, just that, it's... Huh. I think... One second.
Well, I think even with professional critics, you have to look at the angle they're coming from. So, for example, I don't think we've made it a secret, but certainly Jack and I are regular readers of Anime Feminist. And
they have a very different angle of approach than,
yes,
you
because they are coming at it not necessarily how good and how enjoyable is this series, but coming at it from a feminist angle, which is a worthy angle to come at it from.
It's definitely a valid.
It's a valid angle,
and I do enjoy getting their perspective on it because. I'm fairly sure I've said on stream, it's hard to get that, hard to get myself in that frame of mind and point of view sometimes. So being able to see what other people think and how other people see it, from a I'll be honest, less privileged point of view than mine, where I don't have to look for these things because I'm not part of very many, minority groups. It allows me to get that information,
Yes, that is definitely something I also keep in mind when I'm reading their stuff. But one other thing to also keep in mind is I'm not always going to agree with their reviews on stuff because
No.
I think that they are either harping too hard on a specific angle, or I feel like that they're ignoring something in order to focus on the negatives, and I don't think it's fair.
I disagree with that. I think, especially with regards to Anafem, there are definitely times when, obviously people have different tolerances, but I do genuinely think that there will be times when the level of negatives means that I don't approve as much of just ignoring the negatives in favor of the positives, because like there comes a point where where enough is enough.
Obviously,
so to speak.
yes. If there are absolutely glaring negatives, then obviously we won't ignore them. But I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head.
Goblin Slayer.
Well, obviously no, because certainly I didn't fucking watch that show. Did you, Jack?
I did, and I honestly found that outside of the opening scene, it was not really that bad. It was just the opening scene was very excessive.
See, therein lies the problem. Is I think for a lot of people, that is not enough. Just like ignoring the opening scene. Is just
too difficult.
Not.
Yeah.
It's too difficult, and not even because of. It's not even a matter of difficulty at that point. It's more a matter of should you or should you not. Because I would argue that the opening scene is so egregious that you shouldn't ignore it.
I also feel like the opening scene, not just that it's necessarily egregious, it is. If it was less excessive in the way it was executed, it would be an effective, establishing moment for the series in terms of like, don't underestimate these just because they're supposedly beginner level monsters. They can really fuck you up if you're not careful. And, a decent premise for a series. And the whole series is founded on that premise. But like the execution of the scene, especially in the anime, as well as in the manga, to my knowledge, is just like excessive and unnecessary. So
It's
I get why it turns people off.
It's fetishistic, if that's the correct
to a degree, yeah.
pronunciation of the word. It didn't sound right, but I'm not sure.
No, that's about right.
No, that's the correct. Yeah, but it's just one of those things where if you just go, well, it's like you might as well just like ignore it or whatever. Like,
it'd be nice to be able to just straight up skip over that scene, honestly.
Yeah, but the thing is, just the fact that that scene exists is egregious, and I think
it is a stain on the series, yes.
And I think it's enough of a stain that, like, for me personally, the rest of the series is, no matter how good it is, you cannot get over that stain.
And
understandable.
And it's. I'm not saying this is true for you, Jack, but I feel like for some people, it's definitely a slippery slope. As for some people to go, oh, it's just one scene, it's not indicative of the whole thing, and after a while they go, well, slavery and Shield Hero isn't that bad. Now Fumi's a good slave owner. That's okay, right?
Careful not to fall into slippery slope fallacy there, Mill.
Yeah, but the slippery slope fallacy is not always a fallacy. That's also something you have to remember. It is legitimately a thing.
Yes, on the one hand, yes, but at the same time, it doesn't always lead to,
As I said,
if you
I'm
like
not saying
Shield.
that is true for you, Jack. I'm just saying that I'm willing to bet for some people that is true.
I would not be shocked, but it's not a guarantee.
No,
which is
it's
something.
It's just from a just from a media point of view, it is important to speak out against this whenever possible, because while yes, it might not be from an audience point of view, but I think from a media point of view, there is a certain element of, well, this much has already been done in the past, but like there's a precedent set, so we can like push that, and that's a problem.
I feel like the issue, in no small part, is a lot of series have it where they use this, like they have this one exploitative, really dark, excessive scene right at the start to kind of like, I don't know, to draw in viewers, or to just like as like a big content wall to like say like, oh, be careful, this is going to be a dark, mature series, and it's very non-indicative of the actual tone of the series from then forward.
Yeah, but
and
Jack,
it's like,
you know,
why include the scene?
We took that view with Either Ten Deities. Oh, it was just one scene. It didn't happen again in the following episodes. So it was just a one scene thing, right? And then it ended up being certainly the worst show I watched that year. I
agree there. Either Ten was a different issue though, because there was a lot of other stuff in the series' favor that made it easier for us to justify just like ignoring warning signs that that one scene might be, you know.
But the point is, we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. That is the point I'm trying to make. Is like, just because a series has good points does not mean you should. Like a series' good points should not be allowed to make up for its negatives inherently. Like they need to be taken separately. And it's not an equation.
No, it's not.
Right? You can't forgive the. You guys get where I'm coming from, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like the general gist of what I'm trying to say. That is inherently what I'm trying to get at, is that, like Jack, you said sometimes NFM harps on the negatives too much, but I think that if there are negatives that are bad to a certain point, you just need to like acknowledge that there are.
That's not what I was really honing in on with regard to that.
I know it's not, but like that is something that is a valid point that we need to make at some point. But at least I think I'm getting my point across, right?
I think so. My point with that particular argument, though, was more that sometimes they see like an element that is, you know, not really I don't want to say like it's not really a substantial part of the show at all, and it's really hard to argue.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to say is that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm saying that it shouldn't matter if it's not a substantial part of the show, because at the end of the day, it is still a part of the show.
Well, no, I'm talking about stuff that is like an element that is only really there if you really, 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 really squint, and you have to jump to some conclusions to make that argument. It's a type of thing where I think you're over-analyzing this type of angle.
Okay, that is a separate thing entirely, but like I think you guys get the point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
I get the point you're trying to make.
Also, critical. You also have to like make a distinction between critical analysis and over-analysis, right? It's like,
yes,
you can't yell at me for calling stuff like Starlight Yuri bait, and then go around and say that other reading between the lines in other places could be over-analysis, right? Like sometimes you do have to read between the lines.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Starlight, you can argue, is very much a between the lines series.
But
Gotta
yeah,
say that.
yeah, basically that's that's what I've been getting at.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that was my rant. Do you guys have any rants you'd like to share for the day?
It's very hard to deal with anime in summers because it's so fucking dull compared to most seasons.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't know. Like, of the past 6 now summers I've watched any degree of, including this current one, only 2 of them have really had, like, a substantial amount of standout stuff that isn't sequels.
Do you think that the problem has something to do with the fact that summer is a peak season, and as a result, they kind of put out all of the generic mass appeal mainstream stuff?
I think it might have to do with a little bit of that and a little bit of just it being hard to produce stuff in the summer because the environment in Japan doesn't really, conducive to productivity in the summer. Given,
But to be fair, they're not making it in the summer, are they?
they are.
Yeah,
They are putting the finishing touches in the summer, at the very least. Like, the tail end of the production cycle is, in most anime, going to be occurring during the season in which it airs.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But I feel like that'd affect, fall anime as well, then.
Maybe.
Moose.
Hello, am I in the call?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, yes.
Elk.
Sorry, had to pop out for a moment, but yeah, I guess they are putting the finishing touches on it, but like they've still done a lot in the previous amount of time, right? Like,
Usually, yes. There are some real shoestring budget jobs that are like a year at tops turnaround, but those are not as common as the stuff that's been in production for 2 years at least. At least to my knowledge. That's why basically only a couple of anime that had manga debuting in 2020 had anything coming out before this year that was any, good on the production side.
I mean, I wonder if it's a case of there's something else in on the TV schedule in Japan that takes precedent. Maybe something
I think also
related.
a part of it might be just that a lot of people are on vacation and out and about during the summer.
Yeah.
So they're probably not going to be at home watching anime. They're probably going to be, like doing shit.
Yeah.
people do things.
I mean, that is a big part of why television in America runs fall to spring and doesn't really, and there's only like some like cable network stuff on during the summer. Like primetime is much bigger of a thing during the school year.
That's a fair point, yeah.
So it might just be that Japanese television is following a similar logic.
I mean, I'd imagine that'd be, at the very least, kids' TV would be a lot more summer focused, given that that's, certainly during the
Well,
day.
no, the same thing applies. As like if kids are on vacation, they might be going somewhere on vacation as opposed to being on vacation at home.
Yeah, but
A lot.
Like, I think
Believe it or not, children especially prefer being, out and about, or at the very least, like playing
some children,
games or
a
stuff.
lot of children, but like.
I don't think that most children have energy that they want to channel in some way, shape, or form, whether it be through outdoor activities, reading, playing video games. A lot of the time, they go with Saturday morning cartoons as their preferred, like, sitting and watching thing, and they don't really watch much else during, vacation times.
Yeah, no, that tracks, yeah.
I mean, this is just my deduction, though. Jesus Christ, this guy's taking a lot of arrows.
Yeah, archery builds can be like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
got that guy on the throat though.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just one of those things that you do have to bear in mind can be a factor, especially with regards to any sort of large media endeavor.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing about anime, is that, like, there's a reason that anime tends to be the most generic, manga is much more diverse, and then probably the most diverse medium is the light novels, is because the diversity of a medium is inversely proportional to the number of people required for it to function.
Part of that is also, like, manga, and especially light novels, generally are the generally have only a single creator.
Yes, that's what I was getting at, is like, yeah, when it's one or two people working on something, you don't really need a lot, do you?
And a lot
You
of
can
times
kinda
they don't
just-
really have to answer to stuff like, production committees and shit.
Exactly. Which is why it's so difficult for... Well, this is gonna sound mean. It's why it's so difficult for for anime to be interesting.
I mean,
It, like-
I don't wanna, sound like I'm being overly negative or overly positive here, but I feel like of the seasonal offerings, there's rarely a season where more than a third of everything is good.
Sturgeon's Law, definitely I would go even as far as to say, like,
A
less than
quarter,
that.
really. Yeah.
10%. Really.
10%
like,
might be a bit much, because there are
I
several
don't
seasons
know,
where
there's like
good.
a lot of trash in most seasons of anime. Like, a lot of trash.
Most seasons I can find a good 15-20 shows to watch
Yeah,
that are
Jack,
at least
you,
decent.
Jack, you're the exception here. You've got to know that.
Yeah, you do have, like, look, I say this out of love, but you do have the lowest bar of the three of us.
Perhaps. I also do have very little in the way of, genre pickiness. The only genre
Yeah.
I really bounce away from is sports.
Which is insane to me.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest parts of this. But yeah, no, you do tend to have, like, the most wide tastes.
Yes.
For
But
better or
I
for
think that's
worse.
what makes me most qualified to say that about the most variety of stuff being, good to decent. If I consume the largest amount by volume, of a given medium. I think I have.
Yeah, but like, but not only do you consume the largest amount by volume, you also have like, you tend to be less critical of the things that you consume. Maybe as a result, or maybe in spite of that, but like, it actually does make a certain amount of sense because like you have to sort of what is the, you have to be aware of the limits on a single person's time, perhaps more than the two of us, because of how.
Yeah, I have a full-time job.
Yeah,
With a
well,
lot
not
of
only
years.
that. No, but because you have such a more diverse taste, perhaps you have like less energy to devote to any individual genre or thing, since you consume the most by volume.
Not necessarily, because when it comes to stuff outside of anime, I'm a lot more picky.
Well, no, but with respect to anime specifically.
Yes. Maybe. I think it's honestly kind of the opposite. Like, I like giving everything at least a chance, but... Well, not everything, but I like giving stuff a chance. But at the same time, I have been able to just cut my losses with something if it's not working for me. I don't really like sticking around with something if it's boring me, or if it's just, like, not working for me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, I've dropped stuff at, like, episode 10 out of 12 because it just hit me so hard in the note zone that I just could not continue on with it, even if it's so close to the end. I don't like going full sunk cost, you know? I feel like that's an issue other people do have. They don't want to give up when they're so close to the end. It's like, sometimes you gotta.
Oh, I will fully admit to that, yeah.
Just go down your list from a random season in the last year or two, Jack.
Are you going to try to prove a point to me about something?
Yes.
Okay.
Fight! 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 Fight!
Let's go with spring of last year. Let's see my list. So, Spy Family, excellent series. Kaguya, excellent. Komi, also excellent. Shikimori, you will agree that that was very good, Mill.
Yeah.
Your boy Kong Ming, very good. I'm Quitting Heroing, it's pretty decent.
Oh, good. You did
Love
pick-
After
you
World
did-
Domination, that was a pretty fun show.
Did pick spring. Okay, good.
Yeah, of course I picked Spring. Why wouldn't I pick Spring? Executioner and Her Way of Life, that was good. One of the rare, actually legitimately good isekais. Which, you know, as a genre, I think are like the biggest example of Sturgeon's Law. Taken up to 11.
Which is why I don't watch any of them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Science Film Love, that one that you can't really blame on me because it only went to shit in the very last episode. Daimon, I enjoyed. That was a fun slice of life.
Diamond. That's the one I'm gonna pick out. Because I ended up dropping that. Because it was boring.
You found it boring. I did not.
Which, you know, sort of proves my point. You've got more accepting tastes.
Not necessarily. It's just you didn't vibe with it. I did. And there were other people who watched along with it that also vibed with it better than you did. It has a decent rating on Mal, too, so it's not like...
Oh, don't try and use Mal. Don't try and use Mal as a judgment on quality.
Mal has a point. Mal is not a valid.
Don't do that.
Alright.
Don't do that.
Fair
you
enough,
know.
fair enough.
You know that you can't get away with doing that.
Yeah. Oh, Birdie Wing was also spring last year. I made an exception to my dislike of sports to watch a sports anime, and it was good. Okay?
And maybe it's a sign you should watch more sports anime.
I don't think any sports anime reached that level of high camp that Birdie Wing did.
That's because to a certain extent it stopped being a sports series. Especially in that second half.
Yeah.
It went full endgame Kuroko.
I mean,
I do have a fondness for... Okay, but was it gay?
No, it wasn't in the end.
it was very ambiguous.
And you've lost me.
Yep.
It just did not commit, unfortunately. When it was very close to being able to commit, and it just, like, cowered out, chickened out last minute.
I think it's bait.
Yeah, no, that is like the textbook definition of bait right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so let's get into the topic of bait, because I know we've discussed it before, but
We did have an entire podcast on it, yes.
I do feel like it does bear discussing, because a lot of the time you can argue between whether something is bait or subtext, or just very loud text that, for whatever reason, be it producers or someone else deciding to fuck with things up the line, wasn't able fully to go all the way. But like, there is actual stuff in the text of Birdie Wing that's like, yeah, no, there is sapphism going on here. There is gayness going on here. And it just did not commit to actually, hooking the two leads up. And that's it.
And that is like the definition of bait.
No, the definition of bait is alluding to the possibility of queerness and then,
Not
denying.
doing it,
That's what it did, though, Jack.
That's what it did. So
It
that's
didn't really
right.
deny it so much as not commit to it. Which I feel is a distinction.
That is sophistry, and you know it.
No, it's not.
Okay,
do not know,
Mel, please
Fuzzy.
take over from here, because I don't think I'm eloquent enough to make this argument.
So... Oh boy, I pissed off the werewolves. I'm just gonna pause so I can think here. I think you are being lenient on Birdie Wing, Jack, because you say that they just didn't commit, but there were still elements of sapphicism to the ending. I would disagree.
On the ending in specific, perhaps, but overall, it was still... There were several
But
scenes
again,
throughout the show.
That's sort of the point, is that it alluded to the possibility that we would get that Eve and Aoi would, get together in a romantic fashion, to the point of, Eve offering kisses to Aoi as a reward. But they never actually went through with anything like that.
So at what point does is it ship tease instead of Yuri baits? Because
When it's an ongoing series and you don't get to the end.
I don't know. There are series that have ended at just the teasing stage.
I would argue
Fingers.
that ship teasing is a more heterosexual term because, and to a certain extent, there is a lot more sensitivity to the idea of baiting a queer couple compared to a straight couple.
I was just about to say that is like... That's really the
crux of
main
it.
thing. Yeah, is that when the characters are gay, then inherently there is an element of
I mean, you've got to look at the reasonings for why a couple doesn't happen. I mean, let's use the example of My Hero, where the pairing of Izuku and Ochako has been teased for basically the entire run of the show, right? Would you call that bait?
No, because the series hasn't ended.
No. But if they were not to, if they happened to end the series not being together, would that be bait? No, because they're not trying to attract you with the romance between Izuku and Ochako. That's just happened to be a story thread that Horikoshi has, for some reason, not committed to. For something like Birdie Wing, when they are putting in all this teasing between Eve and Aoi, they're getting in a certain type of audience. They're drawing in a viewer like you, Jack. Let's be real. Would you have been as interested in Birdie Wing if there hadn't have been hints of Yuri to it? No, obviously you wouldn't have. So in doing so, they've drawn you in with that, and then they've not delivered. They've baited you into watching the show.
Yes.
That's the distinction. If they are trying to get a certain type of viewer in, that's bait. If it just happens to be a story thread they don't follow up on for whatever reason, that's not meant to necessarily draw in a certain type of viewer. And it's a murky thing, because you can say, oh well, Horikoshi is teasing Izuku and Ochako to try and draw in the more romantic shonen viewer. It's...
But at the end of the day, there's no other element of the story that suggests that.
Yes.
Right? It's also, you have to think of how it's not necessarily an issue of punching, but it's the punching down versus punching up issue.
Yes. Because,
So,
let's be real.
say...
Nobody will mind if Izuku and Ochako... Well, some people will mind. But,
A lot of people will mind, but that's never been the point of the story.
Audience won't mind if Izuku and Ochako don't end up at the end of My Hero, because it's one more straight couple. We've gotten so many straight couples in shonen. Look at fucking Naruto, who basically just paired up every male and female character they fucking could in time.
Naruto is a different issue entirely.
Yes,
honestly,
I know it is. But that's my point. How many fucking queer couples were in Naruto? How many queer couples are there in shonen in general?
Not many.
Exactly.
Speaking of Naruto, actually, there was something I wanted to harp on about that ending. Actually, I'll save it for the roast.
Yeah, we are going to try and schedule that again. But that's sort of, that would be my point anyway.
I see what you're getting at.
And that's why
on the flip side, though, I don't think it's great to lean too hard on the argument of bait just because there's no kiss or anything between a couple.
But that's not what we're talking about in this.
We're not.
Scenario.
Because I know you're going to bring up Witch from Mercury. And
yes,
that is a case where I think they did actually manage to commit without having a kiss.
No. That's the thing. Is it's the commitment is important, and you need to make it clear that the commitment is there, right? As much as I harp on Starlight, the subtext does make it very obvious, and it does commit pretty hard. Whereas from all I'm hearing, Birdie Wing does not, and in that case, it's bait.
Birdie Wing is a weird one overall because again, there's a lot there, and yet at the same time, there's nothing at the end to really indicate one way or the other how things will go in the characters' lives.
Okay, I will give you another example. Licorice Recoil. Because at
Licorice...
No. At the end of the show, we get no obvious confirmation as to Chisato and Takana's relationship status. But
yes,
there are little bits and pieces that, the more eagle-eyed viewer spots that make you go, maybe they are actually together. And to a certain extent, we do have to make allowances for the nature of Japanese TV and Japan in general in terms of queer rights, where they're not very good with it. They're not very good with it because the government is full of conservative assholes. So even if, there is actually a half-decent majority of the population that is generally okay with queer rights, the government isn't. But the point is that, to avoid getting backlash, they might need to be a little bit more stealthy with it. And I think that's somewhere that, Licorice Recoil does come in to a certain extent. We also know that we have more Licorice Recoil. If we don't get any obvious change in relationship status there, then yeah, I will probably argue that it's bait. But for the time being, I think there is a decent enough argument that you can say, fucking Chisto wearing the marriage bracelet, basically, is something of a sign. And, the sunset behind them as they reunite being in the fucking lesbian flag colors. Little bits like that. Maybe I'm being optimistic on that front. There's nothing like
symbolism
that.
is something to keep in mind with regard to that. Yes.
Again, look at. I know you're gonna hate me for bringing it up, Jack, but look at Wonder Egg. The I can't remember his name, but the trans guy in I think it's episode 9.
Yes, episode 9.
Wearing full fucking trans flag colors.
Yep.
And ends up giving his jacket to Momo, who is the character of the main cast who is theorized to be trans. It's not something that the writer has put in because we know he's a jackass. But it's something. Oh yeah,
the writer's a fuckwad.
It's something that the animation staff have put in because it's something that they believe.
So with regard to Wonder Egg, I do find it fascinating as a case study of warring creatives behind the scenes, but particularly between the writer and the director, who had very different visions of what the series was going to be.
I mean, I remember reading an interview with some of the animation staff, and it's very clear that they all got on really well and worked really well together. They never mentioned the writer. They never mentioned that writer.
Because the writer literally just sent in the scripts and that was it.
Yeah. But yeah. I can't remember what point I was making now. Actually, do you want to pick another season, Jack, and I can try and prove your point of you being too lenient wrong again?
That wasn't my point.
What was your point?
I never said I was too lenient. Fuzzy was the one saying I was too lenient.
Yeah, I'm trying to prove that point. I'm trying to prove mine and Fuzzy's point. Not your point. Why would I be trying to prove your point? I'm arguing against you.
I don't fucking know, man.
I'm arguing against you.
Alright, let's do Fall last year.
Fall last year. Let me find it.
So, Chainsaw Man, Mob Psycho, Spy Family, My
I
Hero.
have issues with Chainsaw Man.
That's a personal taste thing, though. I personally liked it, and a large number of people liked it. But yeah, no, I can get why you wouldn't. There are a multitude of reasons to dislike it. It is a taste thing. And also possibly a trigger thing, because there's a lot of trigger warning stuff in Chainsaw Man. Bocce the Rock. Fucking phenomenal show. Bleach, which I actually put on hold because I had issues with the arc, in particular a specific plot point. And I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it back up again or not. Reincarnated as a Sword.
Blood has problems?
Shocking.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know. Reincarnated as a Sword and Eminence as Shadow, which were both very fun. Irma, which I know you liked as well, Mill. To Your Eternity, which I have been enjoying, even if the production values haven't been the best.
There we go, To Your Eternity.
What, are you going to argue I've sunk cost myself on that one, even though I like it?
I'm just gonna say that you're more lenient on it than I am, but, you know, to be fair, there's an element of taste difference there.
Yeah, because Number also has been following it To Your Eternity, and she has stated to like it, even if she doesn't really like the production values all that much in some of the bits here and there. So that is a taste thing for sure.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Ursa Yatsura, that one was a fun remake.
That one had issues stemming from its original thing, though.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to deny that it has problems, but it's a interesting update, and it does keep a lot of the hallmarks of the original rather than trying to do a setting update, which is interesting. Because not a lot of remakes do that. A lot of remakes try to update the setting too, which isn't in of itself a bad thing, but it's kind of, you know, detracts a little bit from the source material sometimes. But yeah. Shinobi no Itoki, both you and I were kind of just fucked over on that one.
Yeah. That one wasn't great.
Yeah. Akiba Maid War, I enjoyed that one. Witch for Mercury, fucking phenomenal. I'm the Villainess, so I'm taming the last boss. That one was fun. Do It Yourself. And Raven of the Inner Palace, both excellent. Golden Kamuy Season 4, which got delayed, unfortunately. Bibliophile Princess, which I actually dropped when I was getting bored of it. The Little Lies We All Tell. That one was a funny one. Management of a Novice Alchemist. It's a cute little slice of life fantasy. And did I miss anything? Most everything else was either a sequel or something I dropped really early on. Yeah. Oh, here's one that was the inverse of our usual thing. My Master Has No Tail. I dropped that after like a couple episodes, and you kept going to the end.
Yes, I did. It was very entertaining.
I just was kind of bored of it. I don't think I vibe with Rakugo all that much.
If you're going to use that as a reason to not watch Shikane Banashi, I might actually have to fly over to California and punch you.
I just have not checked it out yet, Mel. Jeez. I take my time in getting to things sometimes. I will at the very least give it a shot.
Mm.
If I bounce off it, that's a taste thing.
So here's an interesting direction we might take this. Taste. At what point, like, do you have to make a distinguish between something being a taste thing and something being a genuine critique of things?
That is a thing to consider, because a lot of the times it's a matter of genres. Because some people will actively avoid genres because they don't vibe with the genres, even though other people will attest to something being good. I have that thing with sports, Mill has that thing with mecha. Like, Mill won't touch mecha series, to my knowledge, and I won't touch most sports series. I think the only mecha series you really watched is kind of borderline mecha Toku. That was Gridman, right?
Gridman and Dinosaur. I prefer Dinosaur.
Yeah, those are the only mecha series I think you've seen, at least to my knowledge.
Not the only ones I've seen, because I had to watch Granbelm, and I didn't like that.
Right.
I've also watched other mecha series, like first episodes, and again, not really vibe with them.
Hmm. I mean, it's been the same with me with sports series, which is why I try to pawn them off to you. Because I know you love sports series.
Wow, most of the time.
You have a much higher tolerance for sports series than I do.
That's fair. But I would argue you have a lot more high tolerance for things like isekai. You've watched some fucking awful isekai sometimes.
To be fair, all the worst
He's
ones
got you
I've
there,
watched
Jack.
I've dropped. I do drop isekai, you realize.
So here's the thing.
Or
I
avoid
think
them
for
outright.
me, it's very rarely a genre thing. There's no genres that I really just stay away from as a rule.
Harems.
Okay, yes. But the thing is, only if it's a slice of life harem, because that has an incredibly obvious ending point most of the time. I, however, do not have any issues with harem in other genres as long as they either commit or make it very clear that it's going to be one person. Right? It's
Yeah.
just like either you make it clear. What I dislike is the as it is termed on TV tropes. What I dislike is the balanced harem, where it's a constant will they or won't they with all of them on an individual basis.
See,
If,
I always like that when it's like clear that polyamory is not really considered a viable option.
You like
when
it or you dislike it when it's clear?
I dislike the balanced harem approach when it's clear
Yes,
that polyamory.
yes, that is
not
I share I am that is exactly where I'm coming from with this. Is like if it commits to the polyamory, absolutely go for it. Right? Like that is totally something I have no problem with. If it doesn't though, that's when it has issues.
So there was a Shonen Jump manga a while back that ended relatively recently that I was like cautiously monitoring to see if it actually committed to the bits of because a lot of people said it looked like it might go with an actual, polyamorous harem ending, and they didn't do that because, of course, they just had the guy hook up with main girl because they're cowards. And I was like,
which
so I'm
series?
not going to give this Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I was considering
Yeah, you know,
giving it a chance
it's
if
like
it actually
polyamory bait. That series as a whole is polyamory bait.
Yeah, I was considering giving it a go if it actually went all the way with it, but it didn't. It decided to be cowards at the last minute, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna fucking read this then. It's not worth my time. If you're going to do that kind of thing, commit to the bits, or just don't
Another
bother.
example of that is, well, I have a lot of series with that. I have a lot of problems with that series in general, but Konosuba is another example of this.
Konosuba
Where-
has a lot of different problems altogether. Right?
It has a lot of problems, but one of those, but relevant here is like, it's always like, well, we're gonna tease the polyamory, but we're never actually gonna commit to it.
It's the whole love triangle with Darkness, Megumin, and Cosmo, right?
No, it teases it. From my understanding, it full on teases the polyamory ending.
Oh god, wow. Just straight up
And just-
baits you with that, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Of course, there are a lot of series that just go full on wish fulfillment with it just being like a hero marrying a harem of ladies, and that's the end all be all of it. And it's
Yeah, I think
really-
we've established that that's just like,
that's just
Ugh.
blatant wish fulfillment.
yeah.
Like, if it's one thing if it, like, actually gives, like, some degree of focus to, like, the relationships between the women, and, like, whether they're friends or just, friends with each other or, outright have, you know, romantic feelings for each other. But, like, if it's just, like, straight up wish fulfillment, like, I think it was, Isekai Smartphone is one of those where it's like, oh, hey, he's going to marry all of them, and it's just, like, that they're all basically, like, one personality trait apiece. Though.
Basically, what you have to bear in mind is, are these people characters or are they like blow-up dolls?
Yeah, they're fucking tropes.
Look, let's be real. Based on what the appeal of a lot of those characters is, blow-up doll seems like a more appropriate designation.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no. Like, seriously, that's the thing, like, it's nice to get actual good representation of polyamory and other non-conventional approaches to romance and stuff, like open relationships, for example. And a lot of the time, the series will bait you on that, because they know, like, to some degree, some of that is, like, a very popular approach to romance, or they just like, oh hey, look at the love triangle, or look at the dodecahedron that we have going on. And it's like,
It do be a full-on dodecahedron sometimes, though.
Those are fun, yes, in a clusterfuck sort of way. And kind of like a car
it is
ongoing
that sometimes too.
And what now?
It's a fustercluck sometimes, literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I think what the conclusion we've come to is it's bait as long as you don't commit to it. And you do have to commit to it. Commitment is important.
You gotta commit to the bits.
Exactly.
I literally posted a meme about that just the other day.
And like so many refuse to commit to the bit. And that's just annoying when they do that.
Yep. Also, Fuzzy, I know you're probably going to hate me for saying this, but I think 100 Girlfriends is actually a pretty decent representation of polyamory in terms of, like, manga standards.
So, okay, I know what 100 Girlfriends is about, and I acknowledge that it's probably the best you're gonna get, but it's too much.
I
Like,
get that.
I get that that's the joke. That's the bit. It 100%. See, 100 Girlfriends is a time where I can confidently say that it's a taste thing and not a genre thing.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Where I totally get what the deal is with 100 Girlfriends, as just not what I'm about.
No, and that's fair. But I do appreciate that they commit to the bit and just go all in on a massive group relationship. Like, there's even, like, a lot of, like, straight-up textual attraction between several of the girls in the relationship.
I thought you were going to say harem.
Well, it is still kind of a harem because of how much of a...
It's mostly girls. There's only one guy in the relationship, so yeah. But it's kind of prevented from being a straight-up harem by, you know, the fact that there's actual, you know, homoerotic relationships between several of the women in the, you know, relationship.
Does that stop it from being a harem?
I don't think it necessarily does. Since
it makes it more of a gray area, I think.
It's more of a gray area, but the fact that it's there's the conceit is that they're all going after one guy, and like basically the suggestion is that the dude is the important part, and the relationships between the women is incidental. There's still things that exist and they're important, but they are not necessarily the main thing that they're getting at. And I think that therein lies the problem.
Well, there is also to consider the fact that as of this point in time, there are at least two girls in the group relationship who had previous partners before entering into the relationship, and by all indications had just as strong of a romantic attachment to their prior partners before they became an item to the MC. It's just
I don't think that's necessarily that's probably
why does that
relevant
matter?
for a lot of people.
I'm confused. I'm confused. Maybe I missed something.
It doesn't matter, but it matters to a lot of people because people have virgin complexes.
Right.
I think it's good that they have that in there, though, because it does.
Yes, it is definitely important because too often that is like. Oh, 1 second.
Basically, some people are like super hung up on like, oh no, the only way a relationship can be good is if the girl is completely celibate and chaste before entering a relationship with a guy. And it's like, I do like that the series doesn't really do that.
Mm.
And also, it doesn't shy away from the idea of, girls having,
Yes, that is the most important thing, is like not shying away from the idea that girls can have prior relationships and not be ruined, because that is a depressingly prevalent idea.
Yeah.
That said, I do have to head out now. Duty calls.
All right.
But I did warn you, but I was at least able to stay for the most of it, so
No, it's fine.
I will talk to you guys later.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. See you, Fuzzy.
See you, Fuzzy.
See, I'm definitely looking forward to that anime in the fall. There's gonna be a lot of good anime in the fall, actually. Let's take a look. Oh, yep, Dr. Stone, Spy Family. I know you're not going to watch Farron because you don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, fucking damn it.
What?
The sequel to Seven Deadly Sins, fucking why? Why?
Because it was popular.
Why was it popular, though?
I don't know.
I thought the ending should have scuttled any possibility of a sequel. Fuck me. Thank goodness Fuzzy's not here for this. He'd probably just be just as pissed, if not more so. A lot of sequels in the fall. Jesus.
What sort of sequels?
So, there's, unfortunately, Shield Hero, and, equally unfortunately, the sequel / spin-off Seven Deadly Sins.
Alright, not touching either of those.
Yep, same. Dr. Stone, New World Part 2.
Well,
Spy Family
obviously
Season
wasn't
2, proper.
Yeah.
Faraway Paladin, Tokyo Revengers, Girlfriend, Saints of Magic Powers Unlimited, Ancient Magus Bride, Dead Mount Death Play.
I'm hearing a lot of shows I don't give a shit about.
I never said there were sequels you would enjoy. I just said there was a lot of sequels. I didn't lie.
No, you didn't. I'm just saying. I'm hearing a lot of sequels I don't give a shit about.
Fair enough.
Are there any I'd give a shit about?
I already listed off all the ones I could say that are of interest to either you or me that I would think of. Oh no, Mill! There's Hypnosis Mike! No. Nah. Probably not. Oh no, Mill! I see another one. Keys no Allele. You definitely want to.
God, how did that get a second season? How the genuine fuck did that get a second season?
I don't fucking know, man. I wish I could tell you.
Like,
Oh.
that was as blatant a fucking, like, cash grab as you can imagine. And it was an out-of-date cash grab.
Yeah, NFTs have long since fallen by the wayside.
I'm not even talking about that. Fucking Kiss in the Eye hasn't been that relevant in fucking ages.
Also true. Oh, Mill, your favorite shonen manga is getting a premiere in the fall too. Undead Unluck.
I have more apathy for Undead Unluck than anything else.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that one personally.
No, neither am I.
Yeah, Freyren, I'm definitely going to be watching. Oh yeah, Apothecary Diaries. That one I'm very interested in.
Ooh.
It's done by OLM too. OLM puts out good work.
Well, I've got words to say about OLM that I'll save for the premiere stream.
Some of their work is better than others. I will say for sure. Like,
as I said, I will save it for the premiere stream because that's
Fair-
where it'll be
fair
more
play,
relevant.
But based off the trailer, at least for Apothecary Diaries and the gorgeous key visual, my god. Like both of the key visuals, holy shit. Yeah, no, it looks like they're putting their A team on this one. Yeah, 100 Girlfriends. I'm in love with the villainess as well. Hoshikuzu Telepath, which I'm also interested in. Oh wow, it's a couple Yuri series then. I think summer is the only season without at least one Yuri series in it this year. But summer is always dry. Shangri-La Frontier, interesting. Okay, so it's a straight up VR type thing rather than like an isekai. Okay. Oh yeah, there's motherfucking Ghost! I have no idea what that series is about. Oh, it's a racing series, okay. I love how it's called. The title is literally MF Ghost.
Oh god, really? Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
thought you were just adding the motherfucking.
No, I called it motherfucking Ghost because the title is MF Ghost.
MF won't stand for motherfucking.
It can stand for it, okay?
I know it can stand for it, but it won't in the anime. There'll be some like acronym.
I know, because they're cowards. Oh, Mill, I think I see something that you'll really like.
I don't like that tone of
Idol
voice.
Master! Oh, wait, no, that's number shtick.
Yeah. Anything sports looking?
There, let's see. Oh, Overtake.
Oh yeah,
That is
racing,
also a racing series.
Yeah, that racing.
Two
anime.
racing series.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fun.
Anything else?
Yes. I'm looking. Vexations of a Shut-in Vampire Princess. That's not sports, though.
No.
That's slice of life fantasy series. Another fantasy series. Interesting. That isn't an isekai. Oh, no. Fuck that. Nope.
What?
Kingdoms of Ruin. It's an edge fest. No thank you.
Yeah.
I have seen bits of the manga for that one, and I am not impressed.
Right.
No interest. Oh, Ragnar Crimson. Interesting. Let's see. Well, I might check that out. It's by Silverlink. Silverlink's got a fairly decent track record. When they hit, they hit.
Hmm.
There's also A Girl and Her Guard Dog.
In what sense, guard dog?
So, the protagonist is the daughter of a Yakuza boss.
Right.
And her loyal family servant and dedicated guardian enters high school right alongside her and vows to protect her. Even though he's 10 years older than her. That's weird. That's weird.
That's very weird. Please tell me there's not a romance tag.
There's a romance tag.
Oh, goody! Oh, goody! How did I fucking tell? How did I fucking know that was gonna have a fucking romance tag attached to it?
You want to take a wild guess as to what demographic it's in?
Shoujo?
It's a shoujo.
Yeah.
Why do so many fucking shoujo series have age gap relationships involving minors? Why? Ah, fucking hell. Jesus Christ, that's a fucking long title.
Let me guess. Light novel adaptation?
It is a light novel adaptation, yes.
Shocker. Oh.
Not an isekai, but it is a fantasy. Jesus Christ, the anime is not even, doesn't even have the full title. The light novel's title is even longer. What the? It's like twice as long. Jesus Christ.
What is it?
Konyoko haki sarita reijo wo hirota ore ga ikanai koto wo oshie. See what the title is translated. I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in kindness. I'll spoil her with delicacies and style to make her the happiest woman in the world. That was way too much in a fucking title. Jesus Christ.
It really is.
You can't make it pithier? Oh boy, Under Ninja.
I feel somewhat burned on ninjas after, you know.
Yeah. Shinobi no Itoki is just a disappointment all around. Well, here is a mixed media project from Studio Pine Jam. Interesting. Paradox Live the Animation. Sounds vaguely familiar. Meh.
Oh, I'll give you a little hint. So one of the shows that I've watched thus far is Ayaka.
Oh, how was
this
that?
season? Do you want to tell me what? Do you want me to tell you what my favorite part of the premiere was?
The end screen?
No.
Oh, what then?
It was when Kenshiro Suda's character fucking died.
I'm not shocked.
That made me very happy. That man died in like the first fucking 5 minutes. And after that, it was a pretty entertaining premiere, from my point of view.
That's nice. Shy. Okay, what the hell? Just as the planet approached its Third World War, individuals with superpowers appeared from around the globe to maintain peace. They became the symbols of their respective nations, striving to limit crime and bring evildoers to justice. Teenage heroine Teru Shai Giyama is Japan's representative in the world of heroes. When a mysterious threat called Amalarakes emerges, Shai must work together with her fellow heroes to stop them at all costs. This looks like a... Based on just the key visual, I am willing to bet 10-1 that this is just like a cute girls doing superhero shit anime.
No bet.
You're not taking that bet?
No.
I don't blame you.
Just going back to this season again for a second, do you want to know who didn't like Ayaka?
Who?
Well, I mean, most of the reviewers didn't like it, but in particular, Richard Eisenbeis.
Ah, yes. I'm pretty sure he's the one you disliked the most out of all the ANN reviewers.
Do you want to know what he did like?
I have an idea, but let's go for it.
Dreaming Boy is a realist.
Yeah, no one else liked that, and I don't blame anyone.
Every other fucking critic,
lambasted it, yes.
Every other... No, not just lambasted it, actually said, this seems like a fucking experiment to see if AI can write anime because it's so fucking generic and boring.
And also the writing is apparently very stilted and awkward, yes.
Yes. No, he gave that shit 4 stars.
Fucking lie!
Hey, you didn't have a dagger on you, Reaver Thug. That's unfair. I stole your weapons. You shouldn't have been able to do anything to me.
Yeah, I sometimes question the taste of the critics on a given site. Sometimes ANN, usually Mal. I don't read Mal reviews, honestly.
I stopped giving much credence to them after the one on Golden Kamuy that I read the first season, where somebody gave it a very bad review, and that same person had given a better review to fucking Space Fisher Waifus.
Why, though?
Why did you do that to me? Why would anybody do that?
I honestly do not know.
Don't you put that evil on me!
Because, yeah, it is legitimate.
Also felt merited.
Yes, it is legitimately confusing that anybody could positively review between between the Sky and the Sea, aka Space Fisher Waifus, but the fact that you did so over Golden Kamuy of all things, yeah, just weird. Very weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. Yeah, looking at this season. Oh, did you hear the story about whatchamacallit? About the panel at AX where they debuted the first couple episodes of I'm in Love with a Villainess?
Yes, and then afterwards it was what was it, Rent a Girlfriend season 3?
Rent a Girlfriend, the season 3 premiere. Over half of the audience just straight up walked out right before that. Like right as they were announcing it's Rent a Girlfriend season 3 premiere, yeah! Like over half the people walk out. That is just so fucking funny to me. It goes to show that people who are fans of Yuri have taste, or at least some taste.
I wouldn't go making that general of a statement, but yes.
Fans of that particular Yuri have at least some taste. Probably.
Some of them
most
do.
likely. I think I have taste. At least some taste. I have standards, okay? They may not be high standards, but they are standards.
Your standards do exist, at least. I'll give you that.
Yes. For example, I am skipping out on about half the isekai this season because I don't think they are good.
Nothing I've heard from them has made me go, I wish I was watching that one.
There's only like a couple of them that are honestly, one or two of them that are honestly worth recommending. And one of them is the non-conventional villainess isekai of the season. AKA the only one that doesn't have any standard features of the generic original isekai flavor. Or not original, just like the standardized isekai flavor. Also, I think what isekai as a genre needs is more variation, more than anything else.
I mean, it needs good fucking writing, good fucking story, and good fucking characters more than anything else.
True. But that can be said for any genre.
Yes, but it's especially relevant for isekai.
Fair. Yeah. Tomorrow, I believe, is going to be my last new premiere of the season.
What drops tomorrow?
Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence.
Okay, one that I'm not interested in.
Okay. Helk dropped today, and I'm definitely watching that.
Also not interested. I think everything I'm interested in has dropped, so...
There's not much else left to drop, to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, Helk is 24 episodes, my goodness.
I'm definitely not interested in it, then. That doubles my disinterest. Obviously, 2-core shows can be good. I struggle to get through 1-core shows at this point.
What I think my thing with 2-core shows, or either 2-core or split-core shows, is that I'm much leerier of them if they are anime original than if they are adaptations. Because if they are adaptations, then 2-core shows that they are committed to either fully adapting or at least substantially adapting the work in question. And there is a possibility of a full adaptation if it is not already a full adaptation. Whereas a single core is a bit iffier on that front, you know?
Yeah.
Well, let me see how long the manga is for this one, because that could really determine they're just going for a straight up full adaptation with the 24 episodes. Oh, so it's 12 volumes. They might well go for a full adaptation in 2 cores.
Is it finished?
It's finished, yeah.
Okay.
It's finished. Yeah, 12 volumes, a little over 100 chapters. It is a comedy action fantasy series, I believe.
Right.
And comedy does tend to involve a lot of fast pacing, so... I can't really think of a slow-paced comedy off the top of my head, if I'm being honest.
I don't know.
Can you?
Not especially. But I'm never the best at thinking of things off the top of my head, so...
No, that's fair. I think most slow-paced comedies would just wind up feeling boring, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do already have a few drops this season.
I guess maybe to a certain extent my Master Has No Tail. Certainly at the start it was a little bit slow, I don't know.
Yeah. But is that a full comedy or is that a partial comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many shows have you already dropped?
Well, I've watched 4, and I've dropped... Give me a minute just to deal with these things. These things are creepy, and I don't want them to live. So watch 4 shows. One was one of the sequels I've got. What was the third one again? Oh, so yeah, I've only dropped 1 out of 4 so far.
I have a similar percentage. I've watched 16 shows so far and I've dropped 3. Well, it might turn into 4, depending.
I mean, that's the thing. You've already watched 16 shows and still have a couple left. And I've only dropped 3 of them. I've got 14 shows altogether, and we'll probably drop. I'm not gonna say all of. Well, obviously not all of them, but and I'm not gonna say a majority of them. But there's definitely gonna be a fair amount of drops.
Yeah, I only have 3 shows left to watch on my list. I'm considering watching another 2, another 1 or 2, including the Go Hands Cat show.
That might be one of my drops, depending on how tolerant I'm feeling of Go Hands.
It will depend on how nauseous or non-nauseous I'm feeling. But yeah, nah, I am almost done with my premieres. I just have a few left. There were some I was considering that I removed from my plan to watch list because they just either got reviews that indicated that they were not for me, or just I decided against it because I just, felt like watching something else or not watching it. I will also determine if I watch any of the things that you and Number watched after the premiere stream if I had written it off beforehand.
I mean, what sort of stuff have you written off?
Well, not written off so much as just haven't really looked into. That one AI one, which is Gene of AI.
Yeah, I haven't gone to watch it yet, but obviously we'll let you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, some of them I'm just like considering taking a look at, but I'm holding off until or unless I hear good word from you and or Number. Also, I think this is the season with the most like pure ecchi series, or at least like, partial ecchi series in a while. Because there's like at least 4 shows with the ecchi tag that I can see.
4 shows that I'm not watching.
Oh, I am well aware, and I don't blame you. We'll be discussing them amongst others on Saturday, though. That'll be fun, won't it, Nil? You won't even have to worry about watching those shows.
No, well, and I like the premiere streams because the setup for them is so much more simple, and I've already done the setup for the premiere stream.
I'm not shocked.
I don't have to wait for you all to send in your screenshots, or decide on award picks for myself. Obviously I had to watch all the shows before I could really do that, and
You procrastinate.
I do procrastinate, yeah. But
I'm not saying it to be judgy, I'm just saying it to be factual.
no, it is factual. I can be very bad at watching anime sometimes, which makes me glad that this season is a lot
pretty fucking dry.
A lot drier, yeah, because it takes the pressure off.
This might be the first season in a while that I do not hit a full 20 shows watching.
Yeah.
Ongoing. Because I have 2 carryovers from the previous season, and one of those is One Piece. And of the 19 shows 20-ish shows I was planning to watch, I've already dropped 3.
Yeah. No, I did notice that there weren't as many carryovers this season.
Yeah. Summer just doesn't tend to get a lot of carryovers. Carryovers usually are either spring to fall, or fall to winter, or winter to spring. It's like so rare for stuff to carry over from spring to summer for some reason. I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. Let's look at summer last year and see how many there were there were that were carryovers. Okay, there were actually a few carryovers last year that were 2-core. There was Summertime Render, which wasn't legally available here. Couple of Cuckoos, Aoashi, Kingdom, Love All Play, and a few longer shows like Dragon Quest, Dai, Digimon Ghost Game, Conan One Piece.
I mean, spoilers for Aoashi, by the way, but we legitimately got a fucking confession for at least one part of the main couple in the most recent chapter.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Like, there was no ambiguity to it, straight out confession. It was great. I loved it.
Nice.
Well, we'll have
Okay, I might just be misreading the quote-unquote trend for summer, because summer 2021 also had a lot of carryovers that were 2-core. Tokyo Revengers, Hero Aka Season 5, To Your Eternity, Iruma, Eden Zero, Kingdom Again. Blue Reflection Ray, God, that one.
yeah.
I dropped that one after like 6 episodes. I'm surprised I managed to last that long.
I think I dropped after 3, so...
Yeah. That was not good. Oh god, summer 2020. That season was a hot mess.
Well, that season actually had more good stuff than usual, because it had the fucking spring stuff.
Yeah.
That got delayed, so...
Yeah, but a lot of it was also shit. Or rather, not the spring stuff, but a lot of stuff in that season was shit. Or was very lackluster at the very least. You got, like, God of High School, Rent a Girlfriend.
What are we talking about? God of High School was good. I mean, it was good as an advert for
the manhwa, yeah.
No, for Jujutsu Kaisen, but, you know.
The plot in God of High School was an absolute fucking mess, and you know it.
Oh, no, it absolutely was. I mean, I only lasted as long as I did for that one, because to just get to the like big fight in the middle of it.
Oh god, Peter fucking Grill, Jesus.
How did that get a season 2?
Because horny.
And we've been going for 2 hours, and I have no idea what to fucking do in this dungeon, so I think we should probably bring this to an end.
Probably a good idea.
So, thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed us chatting along with Skyrim in the background. In terms of future stuff, Thursday, not entirely sure what we'll do Thursday. I did bring up to Fuzzy the possibility of doing GeoGuessr.
Ooh, GeoGuessr sounds interesting.
So we might not do that Thursday, but we might do that at some point. Saturday is obviously the summer 2023 anime premiere stream, as we've just been discussing this last sort of 15-20 minutes. That should be interesting if nothing else.
Oh yeah.
Sunday should hopefully be more D&D unless something comes up in the meantime, which we'll of course let you know about. And next Tuesday, probably more of the same. We might do something different depending on availability, but we will see. And otherwise, again, thank you for watching. Please do give us a follow here on Twitch and on Twitter at Storytime_net. And otherwise, we do hope to see you on Thursday for our next stream. Good night.
Later.